On March 10, 2026, Chuck Norris shared a video from Hawaii. At 86, sparring effortlessly with someone half his age, he looked into the camera and grinned. "I don't age, I level up." The internet buzzed. For a brief, dazzling moment, the world felt the invincible Chuck Norris, beyond the memes, beyond the jokes. 9 days later, the world learned he had passed. No warning, no farewell. The man who had been the subject of countless immortal jokes was gone. And yet, behind every quip and viral clip, people had believed in him. Not literally, but as a symbol of perseverance, someone who never quit. Chuck's story began far from Hollywood lights, in Ryan, Oklahoma. Born March 10, 1940 as Carlos Ray Norris, he grew up shy, stuttering, and often invisible. His father was absent, leaving his mother as the bedrock of the family. Moves to Kansas and California only reinforced that roots were a luxury he could not claim. At 18, he enlisted in the Air Force, escaping poverty and fear. Stationed in South Korea, he discovered martial arts. Tang Soo Do became his language of discipline, strength, and self-worth. By 1962, he returned to the U.S. as a black belt, opening a small studio and beginning a journey that would eventually make him a champion. He lost early tournaments but refused to quit. By 1967, he claimed the karate title that once seemed impossible. Hollywood wasn't ready yet, but through his studio, he met Bruce Lee. Their friendship, forged in mutual respect and relentless discipline, opened doors to the world stage. In 1972, Bruce offered Chuck a role that would introduce him to millions. From a shy, invisible boy to a global icon, Chuck Norris's life became proof that grit, discipline, and unwavering perseverance could turn a life into legend. In The Way of the Dragon, Chuck played Colt, Bruce Lee's fiercest opponent, facing him in one of cinema's most iconic fights, the Coliseum Showdown. Though not yet a star, his presence was unforgettable. Their friendship, however, was cut tragically short. In 1973, Bruce Lee died at just 32. Chuck carried that loss quietly, later calling Lee one of the most remarkable people he had ever known. Grief didn't stop him, it fueled him. Encouraged by Steve McQueen, Chuck pursued acting seriously. Early roles were rough, low-budget films, minimal dialogue, dismissive critics, but audiences responded. Breaker, 1977, Good Guys Wear Black, 1978, The Octagon, 1980, film by film, he built a loyal following. A man who looked and moved like someone who had truly been tested. By the mid-1980s, Chuck Norris had become one of Hollywood's top action stars. Missing in Action, Code of Silence, Delta Force, unapologetically American, unapologetically real. Yet it was television that solidified his cultural place. Walker, Texas Ranger, 1993-2001, introduced millions to Cordell Walker, a man of fists, faith, and unwavering morals. So beloved was he that Chuck was later sworn in as an actual Texas Ranger, a symbolic full circle from dusty Oklahoma childhood to real-life justice. Then the internet discovered him, and a mythology was born. Chuck Norris doesn't do push-ups. He pushes the earth down. Absurd jokes, endless memes. But Chuck laughed, showing warmth beneath the stoic exterior. Behind the legend, life had been quietly heavy. Loss, grief, and decades of private pain lay beneath the roundhouse kicks. Chuck loved Diane K. Holchek from age 16. They married in 1958, shared 30 years, and navigated poverty, martial arts, and Hollywood's climb. Divorce came in 1989 after infidelity and a secret daughter, but their friendship endured. In December 2025, Diane passed at 84, and less than a year earlier, his mother Wilma died at 103, two women who had shaped his life. Chuck faced yet another battle no film could show. In 2012, his second wife, Gina, fell gravely ill from MRI-induced organ damage. Chuck fought relentlessly, seeking treatments across the US and China, spending nearly $2 million, and filing a lawsuit to hold the manufacturers accountable. Gina survived, but the ordeal left a mark on Chuck: humility, tenderness, and a deep awareness of life's fragility. By 2026, he had carried more grief than most men face in a lifetime. His mother gone, his first wife gone, and years of battling alongside Gina shaping his calm, measured presence. At 85, after Diane's death, he honored her quietly, and then did what he had always done. He kept going. Hawaii, Kauai, had become his sanctuary. Pacific light, slow mornings, training on the beach, the discipline of the body became his prayer. Movement was devotion. As long as he could train, a core part of him remained unbroken. On March 10, 2026, Chuck Norris turned 86. He marked the day the only way he knew, a video from Hawaii, sparring with someone half his age, sun behind him, a grin on his face. He looked into the camera, steady, alive, carrying every loss and fight he had survived, and said, "I don't age, I level up." The internet exploded. In that luminous moment, beyond memes and jokes, the world glimpsed the real Chuck Norris, alive, unyielding, legendary. 9 days later, the unthinkable struck. In the early hours of March 19th, a sudden medical emergency on Kauai rushed him to the hospital. Friends remembered that just the day before, he had been joking, training, fully alive. There were no warnings, only the quiet shock of absence. On March 20th, the Norris family shared the news with the world. It is with heavy hearts that our family announces the sudden passing of our beloved Chuck Norris yesterday morning. He was surrounded by family and at peace. He was 86 years old. Faith, purpose, commitment. These three words were the spine of a life built not in fame or fortune, but in quiet, relentless determination. On military bases in Korea, in dojos soaked with sweat and ambition, in hospital rooms holding a wife's hand, on Hawaiian mornings throwing punches at the rising sun. The world paused. The memes faded, the jokes fell silent, and genuine grief took their place. Presidents, soldiers, martial artists, veterans, and children, all who had looked up to him, shared a rare, unguarded mourning. The myth, it turned out, had always been grounded in reality. A shy boy from Ryan, Oklahoma, who stuttered, faced loss, trained endlessly, and never gave up. Chuck's life bore scars he never hid. Poverty, rejection, the loss of loved ones, decades of private battles. He faced them all. From Oklahoma dust to Korean dojos, from Bruce Lee's friendship to long nights at Gina's hospital bedside, from the screens of Walker, Texas Ranger to that final Hawaiian sunrise, he lived one unwavering truth. A man is measured not by the fall, but by how he rises afterward. He survived life's harshest trials, and when he finally left the world, he did so surrounded by family, at peace, fully alive, until the last days of his 86th year. Carlos Ray Norris, born March 10, 1940, in Ryan, Oklahoma, died March 19, 2026, in Kauai, Hawaii, aged 86. Martial artist, actor, veteran, husband, father, grandfather, believer. The legend was never in the roundhouse kick. The legend was in the boy who had every reason to quit and simply refused.